Pizza mozzarella, pizza mozzarella, pizza mozzarella, da 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 da. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite mangas. And today I'm going to be doing a manga review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Part 7, Steel Ball Run, Volumes 13 to 18. Now, unlike the last two review videos I did on Steel Ball Run, I'm actually going to try a more video essay approach this time because I think it's getting so complicated to the point where only mind maps and timelines will help you distinguish what happened. So anyways, let's start off with a recap of Steel Ball Run. Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli are on a horse race across America in the year 1890. The horse race is called Steel Ball Run. The horse race is founded by a guy named Stephen Steele along with his 14-year-old wife Lucy Steele. Yeah, that's problematic. That's bad. But there is a conspiracy. The conspiracy is that the American president, Funny Valentine, was secretly the one behind the race because he wanted the participants of the race to collect body parts of Jesus Christ. The other participants include Diego Brando, Hot Pants, Poco Loco, and Sandman, aka Soundman, and a bunch of other participants as well. But these are the four recurring characters, and all four of these characters, aside from Poco Loco, are morally ambiguous, which means you can never tell if they are in the protagonist side or the antagonist side. Anyways, during the Catch the Rainbow fight, Lucy Steele and Johnny and Gyro made contact and decided to team up to fight Funny Valentine. Now, the race has 9 stages. Stage 1 goes from San Diego Beach to some random church in Arizona, which took like half an hour for some reason. Stage 2 of the race goes from the church to Monument Valley. It's called the Arizona Desert Crossing, where the characters begin to develop stands. In Stage 3, it goes from Monument Valley in Arizona to Canyon City, Colorado. Stage 4 goes from Canyon City to Kansas City. Stage 5 goes from Kansas City to Chicago, Illinois. Stage 6 goes from Chicago, Illinois to Mackinac City, Michigan, which is where we've left off. Now we enter volume 13. Also, before that, I also need to talk about the Jesus Christ body parts. So here are the body parts of Jesus Christ, aka the Holy Corpse. First of all, we have the left arm. Johnny collected the left arm in volume 4 when he crossed the Arizona desert, which gave him the stand, Tusk. Gyro got the right eye during Scary Monster's fight in Volume 7, and then in Volume 9 he gave it to Lucy after Catch the Rainbow fight, so that Lucy can use the right eye to look at other body parts. She wants to do that so that she could steal Funny Valentine's other corpse bits. The left eye, Diego got the left eye during the Scary Monsters fight, and the eye ended up with Funny Valentine at some point before Silent Way, or maybe it's later, I don't know. But anyways, Diego has a left eye, and at some point it's at Funny Valentine. The spine. Volume 9, Lucy found the spine of Jesus and gave it to Johnny, and Johnny absorbed the spine. In Volume 11, after Silent Way, Hot Pants showed up out of nowhere and stole a huge chunk of the spine. And then in Volume 12, Hot Pants gave the spine to Funny Valentine, hoping that Lucy would steal it back. The ears. In Volume 12, Johnny picked them up after the Sugar Mountain arc, and in the same volume, 11 men took it after the Tattoo You fight, and then they gave it to Funny Valentine. The right arm. The 11 men took it after the Tattoo You fight and gave it to Funny Valentine. The heart. Funny Valentine has it the whole time, and Lucy is trying to steal it. Both legs are not found. Torso not found, and the skull is not found as well. So that's all the body parts. Now we enter volume 13. First of all, really weird volume cover. I mean, this is what Araki made, And I know it's really weird, it's problematic, it's an underage girl in the cover looking like this. But I do have to say that this cover didn't came out of nowhere. I think Araki based this cover off of another magazine cover for like Vogue or some other fashion magazine. But there's that, I guess. So we have the Tubular Bells fight, and it's absolutely fucking insane. So we have Lucy trying to steal Jesus' heart, which is inside Funny Valentine's body. And in that fight, we have Mike O, who has the stand Tubular Bells. And the reason why this fight is so crazy is that Lucy has no stand abilities. She's a 14-year-old girl, and Mike O, who is actually really powerful. His stand is so much more violent than it should be. Essentially, Tubular Bells is metal balloon dogs that can sniff scents. Because Lucy was the traitor and Funny Valentine wanted to hunt down Lucy, Funny Valentine asked Mike O to pick up Lucy's scent and ask these metal balloon dogs to sniff to identify Lucy. Now, with the help of Hot Pants, Lucy was made to look like Funny Valentine's wife, Scarlet. At the same time, Lucy needs to steal the heart inside Funny Valentine. Now, the entire fight is extremely brutal and scary. Hot Pants emerging from the bathroom is my favorite panel of the entire volume, and her doing that just to save Lucy, just to have both her arms chopped off, is absolutely insane. Because if you didn't know this, the Tubular Bells dogs, they are made out of metal, and they can turn into the metal objects that they originally were before they were turned into balloons. So they turn into metal doors out of nowhere, and it chopped off Hot Pants' arms. But luckily, Hot Pants can just use her meat spray to spray her arms back. So the outcome is that Lucy has successfully stolen the ears and the heart, but the right arm and the spine are too big and Lucy cannot steal them, so they remain with Funny Valentine. Then the second half of the volume is the Wrecking Ball fight, where Weka Pipo and Majin, the two villains, fight Johnny and Gyro. Honestly, Majin is kind of a forgettable character. He's kind of this stereotypical clumsy villain, and his stand is 20th Century Boy, which is not a reference to the manga of the same name. But essentially the whole stand's ability is just self-defense, and that's a little forgettable, unfortunately. Weka Pipo's stand is also okay in my opinion. His stand is Wrecking Ball and is kind of similar to Gyro in that he has steel balls. But except he also has another thing, and that is left hand ataxia. If he attacks you with steel balls, you're gonna be hit by random rocks and your left side will be completely blinded. Your brain and your eyes and everything will not sense your left side, which is pretty creative. That being said though, the fight is a little bit too long, and even though I still enjoy the fight, I think it pales in comparison with the Tubular Bells fight. But I still love seeing the snowy backdrop, and I think to see the biomes and the environment change across Steel Ball Run is just amazing. Now we have Volume 14, The Victor's Qualifications. The volume cover is just amazing. You can totally see how Araki is inspired by Renaissance and Mannerist art with how the arms point at different directions. I love the green backdrop as well. The Weka Pipo and Majin fight continue in the snow, and again I thought it is just okay. It's an okay fight, nothing too crazy. The establishing shots are really cinematic. You can tell Araki is a bit of a cinephile, and the blocking and the eyeline is just chef's kiss. Gyro's flashbacks with how he wanted to save a blind girl is also really good. It adds a lot to his character, and the outcome of that fight is that Johnny and Gyro found the legs. Jesus' legs. It's hidden inside a wolf, wouldn't you know? And at the end of the volume, Johnny and Gyro arrives at Mackinac City, Michigan, entering stage 7. Volume 15, A Dream of Gettysburg. Again, the manga volume is absolutely stunning. It's pretty simple in terms of color, but it is the squares and it is the arrangement of these squares and rectangles that make it so enticing. I feel like I'm following an epic story with multiple characters having their own internal struggles, which is true. This is Steel Ball Run. So anyways, this entire volume is about one fight, and that fight is Civil War, and this is the most intense and confusing fight yet. First of all, Hot Pants return, and Hot Pants is slowly becoming my favorite character in all of Steel Ball Run because every time she appears, crazy shit goes down, and she's still morally ambiguous, so you don't know which side she's fighting for. She has her own thing, she has her own arc. But anyways, Hot Pants showed up and entered a church and immediately gets attacked. And Johnny and Gyro found her, followed her, and then they get attacked. So they encounter Civil War. The stand is Civil War, and the villain is Axl Rowe, like Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. But anyways, I'm gonna quote a review that I wrote elsewhere. The fight with Civil War is a bit difficult to read without color because so much happens, but I see Civil War as a complete revamp of The Lock from Diamond is Unbreakable, Part 4, utilizing guilty conscience as a weapon to bring back people's pasts to haunt them. It's like The Lock in Part 4, but even better. The fact that Axl Rowe immediately reveals his weakness, which is water, kinda lowers the stakes, but the last chapter of the volume is one of the wildest chapters I've ever read in Part 7. And also, nothing makes sense. So in this fight, Johnny activates Tusk Act 2, or I think Act 3, which allows him to turn himself into a wormhole, and he can shift through walls now. Nothing makes sense, but you know what? It's okay. I'll let Araki do whatever he wants. But there's something Junji Ito-esque about the way Johnny kind of shifted into the wall. It's like, whoa, that's like body horror. Anyways, the final sequence is exhilarating. The final fight sees Axl Rowe getting shot in the head by Funny Valentine out of nowhere. And then Funny Valentine comes out and steals all the corpse parts and leaves. Absolutely fucking mind-blowing. Oh my god. So the outcome of this fight is that Funny Valentine now has all the corpse bits aside from the right eye and the heart, which is with Hot Pants. So somehow all the corpse bits are with Funny Valentine now. And then, Volume 16, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Or, Filthy Acts at an Affordable Price. So, it's absolutely baffling to me that Johnny and Gyro barely appeared in this volume, with the exception of the joke chapter at the end, where Gyro makes a joke where he uses his hair to make coffee, which I don't really understand either, but I can't wait to see it animated. I guess Italians are just like that. And the volume also begins with Johnny and Gyro arriving at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which means they finished stage 7 and now they're entering stage 8. So the structure of this volume is really weird. Johnny and Gyro appears a little bit in the beginning, and then we see Weka Pipo and Majin fighting with each other. And then a huge chunk of the chapter of the volume is Lucy versus Funny Valentine, and then Weka Pipo versus Majin Part 2, and then a little bit of Johnny and Gyro. My favorite panel of the entire volume is Lucy trying to distract Funny Valentine from the right eyeball that just dropped onto the ground. Literally a Hitchcock scene. Like, I feel like this is something that would come out of an early Hitchcock film. But yeah, every single scene with Lucy and Funny Valentine is just as intense and well written, from the iconic napkin speech to Funny Valentine literally fucking dying or on the verge of dying and then coming back out alive from the backside of a chair. Holy shit. Araki proves to us that Funny Valentine is vulnerable too, which is a very great call, because Araki essentially levels the playing field, yet at the same time Araki proves how powerful Funny Valentine is without giving him absurd plot armor. Also, the skull of Jesus appearing in Lucy's womb, what the fuck is happening? I don't know what's happening. It's so crazy. But at this point, we have entered the end game. Right now it's February. It's literally been 2 months, not 2 months, almost 2 months since I've read the last chapter because I've been so freaking busy. But holy shit, just want to say that this scene where Funny Valentine finds out that that Lucy is the traitor, this is one of the most intense scenes in Steel Ball Run. Like, somehow Lucy has the most intense scenes in the entire story so far. Just when I thought the volume was over, it just hit me with a hidden chapter. Chapter 63, 7 days a week. It's a hidden chapter. Really. The Beatles reference. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. What is going on? Okay, just finished volume 16. Volume 16, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That's volume 16. What a weird, like, little hidden joke chapter. I wish they would animate this as a post-credit scene for one of the episodes. I don't get the joke at all. Like, it has something to do with, like, counting the days in a week in Italian. I'm sure there's some kind of joke here, like Italian-Japanese joke here that is lost in translation. But it's really cool. And it's funny because we're literally left on a cliffhanger. We have Weka Pipo about to encounter Diego. Maybe we have Lucy Steele pregnant with Jesus' face on her belly, or at least the corpse resembles Lucy Steele, and then we have Johnny and Gyro completely okay, making their way to freaking where are they? New York? They're on their way from Philly to New York. Also, Wekapipo is a good guy now. Wekapipo has, I guess, he's on the good people's side now. So there's that. Volume 17, D4C, Dojan! He doesn't do that yet, but we'll see him do that eventually. First of all, Volume 17 is the best volume yet. Oh my god. Holy shit. So first of all, Chocolate Disco appears. And Chocolate Disco is named after the song by the J-pop group Perfume, Chocoreito Disco, Chocoreito Disco, which is great. A lot of people thought Chocolate Disco is the first time Araki referenced a Japanese song. That's not true. His first Japanese song reference is Wekapipo. But anyways, here's the story. Johnny and Gyro arrives at Philadelphia and all hell breaks loose. They found Diego and stalked him, just to find out that Wekapipo is also stalking Diego. Johnny stayed behind a wall while Gyro stood closer to Diego, and then suddenly a mysterious dude starts approaching Gyro. And then out of nowhere, behind Gyro is Funny Valentine. Johnny started screaming, "Gyro! Gyro! Behind you! Behind you!" And then Johnny gets shot in the head. What the fuck just happened? So much to unpack, so complicated. So this is basically the iconic Who Shot Johnny scene. This is basically the equivalent of Kira killing Shigechi in part 4 or Diavolo killing Bruno in part 5. This is the turning point of the entire part, and it basically triggered the final battle with Funny Valentine. First of all, we have Chocolate Disco, which is a pretty lame stand and is basically one big distraction for Gyro while Johnny gets shot in the head and nearly dies. Across 3 chapters, it reveals the shooting of Johnny in 3 different POVs. Gyro's POV, Diego's POV, and Wekapipo's POV, and they all happen within the span of around 8 minutes, and how they all overlap and cross paths. How the hell did Araki come up with this? Did he use some kind of mind map or flow chart? Because this is insane. The level of precision of each plot point interweaving with each other's POV is riveting. And my 2 favorite panels in this volume are Wekapipo crossing paths with Disco and Diego crossing paths with Disco. Just a lot of crossing paths and just things happening very close to one another where characters are unaware of that. D4C basically reveals its ability at the end, and it's shocking. And I know Who Shot Johnny is still very confusing, but I believe there are a few charts and a few videos on the internet that you can look at which explains Who Shot Johnny. But essentially, it was not Diego, it's not Wekapipo, it's not Funny Valentine, it's all 3 of them who shot Johnny at the same time, but in 3 different dimensions. Or actually, I think Wekapipo was led to think it was Johnny, but it was just a trick. So there's some mind games going on. Okay, it's March 7th. I finally have a little time on me to continue reading JoJo, and I'm finally doing volume 17. We're now on chapters 64 and 65, which is Chocolate Disco. This is what I've been waiting for. Look at that composition, by the way. Look at the way that the human figures are stacked on top of each other. Just chef's kiss. One interesting thing about JoJo is somehow the protagonists are always up to speed with what the antagonists are experiencing. So Johnny and Gyro, or just Johnny, figured out that Funny Valentine has found the head of the corpse already, which I don't know how they figured that out, but it's true. Funny Valentine did find out in the last chapter, but What in the Alfred Hitchcock is this? He's behind me, isn't it? He's behind me, isn't it? Who shot Johnny? Who shot Johnny? Jesus Christ, what a chapter. What a chapter. Volume 18, Ticket to Ride. We are in the aftermath of Who Shot Johnny. Diego and Wicca People realizing that they got screwed over by Funny Valentine and decides to team up against Funny Valentine. Immediately we have a huge fight between them, but as if the fight isn't crazy enough, Funny Valentine drags Diego through an American flag into an alternate dimension. Holy shit! So, unfortunately, before I read Steel Ball Run, I was already spoiled what is D4C's ability, but I was still hooked from front to back during that fight. I'm glad Araki made us root for Diego for a few chapters and then made us root against him again, because Diego is a cunning survivor and Araki did not forget that. He basically used alternate Wicca People to drag him back through the flag to the original timeline, to the original dimension, and then when the alternate Wicca People and the original Wicca People touch each other, they die. So Wicca People dies. Holy shit. Wow, okay, so that's volume 17. Might be my favorite volume of Steel Ball Run so far. This is absolutely just insane levels of mindfuck. Volume 18. What the fuck? No. So, Funny Valentine made two Dios meet each other, and they just die. They just turn into meat cubes. This is just slapstick comedy. What is going on? That wasn't Jesus' voice. That was just Funny Valentine speaking through the eyeballs. Funny Valentine looks so feminine in this last panel. Wow, okay. So the second half of the volume is Ticket to Ride chapters 1 and 2, where Lucy hears voices and freaks out. This entire part of the story runs like a slapstick comedy because everyone who tries to hurt Lucy gets hurt themselves. What's shocking though is how Funny Valentine tricks Lucy to show up to his steamboat, I guess using the Holy Corpse's eyes as some kind of projector. And I have no idea how that worked, but it just looked really cool. I guess this just really reminds me of like early cinema, like Edison and the Lumiere brothers. This is so 1890s. This is so 1890s. Yeah. And it's also cool that Lucy now has special protection because she has the power of Jesus Christ inside her. So this is basically my thoughts on volumes 13 to 18 of Steel Ball Run. I think it's amazing. All killer, no filler. The only dud is the fight in Wrecking Ball. But honestly, it's not even that bad. Like, it is a good fight. It just pales a little bit in comparison. And as we speak, I've actually already finished volume 19 and it's crazy. So anyways, let's do an overview of these 6 volumes. First of all, we are still on stage 8, the second last stage of the race. And then here are the corpse bits. Left arm, Johnny collected in volume 4 when he crossed the Arizona desert. Now it's with Funny Valentine. Right eye, Gyro has a right eye after Scary Monsters fight, gave it to Lucy. And then I think Lucy still has it, or maybe Funny Valentine has it now. Left eye. Diego has a left eye during Scary Monsters, and then the eye ended up with Funny Valentine at some point. Spine. Lucy found a spine in Volume 9, gave it to Johnny. Johnny has it. Hot Pants showed up out of nowhere and stole a chunk of it, and then Hot Pants gave it to Funny Valentine, and it was not taken back. Ears. In Volume 12, Johnny picked them up after Sugar Mountain, and then in the same volume, 11 Men took it, they gave it to Funny Valentine. Right arm. 11 Men has the right arm and gave it to Funny Valentine. Heart. It's been with Funny Valentine the whole time. Lucy Steele took it, and then Funny Valentine, I think it's still with Lucy. Both legs. Johnny and Gyro took it after Wrecking Ball. Funny Valentine has it after Civil War. Torso. Axl Rowe, for some reason, has the torso, but Funny Valentine took it after he killed Axl Rowe. Skull. It's inside of Lucy's womb. And basically, right now, Funny Valentine has all the body parts aside from heart, ears, and skull. And those are with Lucy Steele. And since Lucy Steele is being kidnapped by Funny Valentine basically has all of them. So that's that. We are at the end game. So, have you read volumes 13 to 16, 18 of Steel Ball Run? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.